Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cody the Coin Raptor, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about what has been going on with Bitcoin. So, my last video I put out, I said basically that there's going to be an awful lot of turbulence coming, an awful lot of volatility coming, because a massive amount of Bitcoin options that were set to expire at the end of the month. In fact, it was today, on the 27th, as I'm recording this. And I said that there's going to be a massive amount of volatility, and that's basically what we've gotten, because Bitcoin went up and got to over 100, about 108,000, and then sold off sharply from that point. And now we're starting to see Bitcoin kind of head sideways for a bit. Now, if you guys remember in that video, the max pain price was about 84,000 or so. So market makers have been trying to make Bitcoin move closer and closer to that level to ensure the maximum amount of pain for options holders. And so we've seen a huge sell-off for the Bitcoin price. We've seen it kind of come down from that 108,000 level, and now we're starting to see it trade almost sideways for the last couple of days. And I actually think that this is good for Bitcoin overall, as Bitcoin can't just keep going up straight in a line. We have to wind up seeing some consolidation, and we're starting to see consolidation here at about the around the $90,000 range, and all the way up to about 100. So about this $10,000 range, we start to see some really nice consolidation for the Bitcoin price, and that is going to be key for it to move even higher, because we've seen in the past that Bitcoin likes to have these periods, these long periods of consolidation before it makes the next move higher, and I think that's what we're wind up seeing right now. So if we go ahead and take a look at the Bitcoin metrics on Durbit, we take a look at the options and the options, and see the open interest by expiration dates for these call and put options. We can see here that there's not really much left. I mean, the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th of December, there's just not a lot of options set to expire for those dates. In fact, the next largest one we have here is the 31st of January, in which you have about $5.4 billion worth of options set to expire. And I can go ahead and bring that up right here. We have the max pain price set at about 93,000. So the fact that the max pain price is kind of close to the current price that we have right now kind of suggests that traders are expecting that Bitcoin is going to go sideways in the next month. But I would also expect that there's going to be a lot of volatility in January as well. So don't be surprised if we wind up actually coming back down here to the 91,000 region before making another move higher to hopefully 100K. Now, I do believe that Bitcoin is not going to stay sideways forever. I do believe that we're going to wind up pushing past this 106, 107, 108,000 range next year. It's just going to take more time than I originally had thought. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, we can also see what's been going on with these traders kind of impact the spot markets as well. If we take a look at the Bitcoin short-term holder SOPR, which is kind of an idea of the Bitcoin profit for these short-term holders, and again, that's people that have held Bitcoin for usually less than about 155 days. We can actually see that the SOPR number is under 1, which means that they've been selling at a loss. So short-term holders over the past couple of days have been selling at a loss. Not a huge surprise here. If we take out the long-term holder metric, we can see that it's actually way above 2.6. So long-term holders are selling largely in profit. Not a big surprise there. If you had bought Bitcoin at any time in the last year, chances are you're up. And so a lot of these profit takers are selling profitably right now. If you take a look at the Bitcoin exchange reserve, the number of Bitcoin on exchanges, we can see here that it's actually gone up a little bit over the past couple of days. We've seen a large amount of selling, a large amount of liquidations, and so we're starting to see more coins flow into the exchange. Now, I don't expect that this is a trend that's going to continue. I do expect that it's going to continue to move down, in fact, but every now and then you'll see these little lumps that move slightly higher. And if you take a look at our Bitcoin spot ETF inflows and outflows, over the past couple of days, it's been mostly negative, so mostly all outflows, and that's been since about the 17th or so of December. So since then, it's been mostly outflows, though today actually happens to be a positive inflow day, or the 25th happens to be a positive inflow day, according to the SoSo Value Bitcoin spot ETF inflow net flow indicator. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the liquidation heat map, because this is something I haven't gone over in a little while, but this is something that we need to talk about. So the liquidation heat map gives us an idea of where liquidity levels are for Bitcoin, and we're starting to see that there's a large one forming here at about $100,000. Not a huge surprise. That's a strong psychological level. It's about $136 million worth of liquidity right here. And this is a liquidity level that I do expect that Bitcoin's going to eventually gravitate towards, this 100,000 level. On the other side, we have about 92,000 or so. So that's $141 million at the $92,000 level. And so if Bitcoin breaks below 92K, it's entirely possible longs will get liquidated and liquidated badly. And then we'll wind up probably seeing Bitcoin pull back to about 90,000 or so. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So there's a large amount of liquidity in both directions for longs and for shorts that could wind up in Bitcoin being volatile. So that's one of the reasons why I say that I expect that Bitcoin volatility will stay high over the next month. And if we take a look at our short-term versus long-term holder supply right now, we're actually starting to see some interesting patterns develop. And so the long-term holder supply, we're sitting at about 76% of total supply. Now, this is the lowest level that I've seen since about 2021 or so. So what this means is that long-term holders have been selling off their supply. And this is something that happens normally during a bull market. It's not something to be terribly concerned about. Now, as a reminder, during the top of a bull market, you'll wind up seeing, usually last time we had 66% of long-term holders make up the supply of Bitcoin. So we still have some room left to move here before we even approach those levels. So this isn't something that I'd be terribly concerned about. Now, next, I want to go ahead and shift my focus to next month. So my expectations next month, normally for Bitcoin, January is kind of a sideways type of year. We've seen historically that the average gain is only about 3% in January. The median is basically even. But what's important to pay attention to is the light at the end of the tunnel, and that is February, also known as one of Bitcoin's strongest months in the entire year, with an average gain of 15% and a median gain of 15%. This is probably going to be a strong month again this year. But January, most likely, we'll see some sideways chop and some volatility. I think that's what will probably wind up being the most likely scenario. But let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below. I'm trying to make these videos a little bit more often, but there's some things that get in the way, holidays and other priorities that I currently have right now. And so I definitely would appreciate your patience. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and be sure to follow me on X and Threads. Leave a comment below what you guys want me to cover, if there's something else that you like, or if you think that I'm off track on this, definitely let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.